مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
Good morning, students, and welcome back to our new writing lesson for today, which I really hope you are going to enjoy and participate in very effectively and enthusiastically. By the end of this video, you are expected to analyze a sample narrative text. Number 2, we are going to recognize the main features and components of a narrative text. And finally, we are going to plan and write a narrative about a personal experience together. Now, please, let's start our task by analyzing a sample text of a narrative nature. Dear students, this is your student's book on page 48. Let's start with this introductory question, which has a nice poem which says, read the riddle below and choose from the words A to E the one that you think answers it. Now let's read the introduction, which is really a poem. It reads out like this. It is more precious than jewels or gold. It cannot be bought, it cannot be sold. Usually to get it, you must grow old. The only other way is to listen when told. Although you may think it's hard, mean and cold, its true form is kind, warm and bold. What is it? What is that thing that needs you to grow old in order to get it? Can you take a minute to think about it? Nice. It is wisdom. To be wise takes time until you grow older or learn from other elderly people by listening to them. Now, let's move to these two questions. Why is there a strong connection between this particular quality and age? The sample answer: there is a strong connection between wisdom and age, because the older you get, the more knowledge and experiences you gain. These can help you make more sensible decisions and judgments about how best to handle a situation. Next question. Which of the other qualities mentioned above do you think come with age and why? The other four words above are confidence, respect, trust, honesty. And this is a sample answer. Confidence comes with age because the more knowledgeable and experienced you become, the more sure you are about your own abilities, qualities, or ideas. Thank you for your answers. Now, please, let's move ahead to our sample narrative. Dear friends, we have got this sample text on page 48. We are asked to read quickly in order to choose the correct headline, and then we are going to do more analytical questions. Now, let's deal with exercise B. Quickly read the personal narrative below and choose from the headings A to C the one that you consider most suitable. At this point of the video, please, you are asked to stop the video for 3 minutes, read the text, and decide your best answer. Now, the sample answer is, thank you very much. This is an amazing participation, a window on the world. That's very nice. Good answer. Nice suggestion. Now let's move on to deal with the analytical question related to this text. Gentlemen, this is exercise C, which, as I said before, involves an analytical task. Now let's read the question together. Read the personal narrative again and match the statements A to G below with the corresponding, with the suitable paragraphs, write 1, 3 in the boxes provided. That's because the narrative consisted of 3 paragraphs. These analytical questions or statements mean to draw your attention to the main components of a narrative text. In this paragraph, the writer describes her experience. Good. Paragraph 2. Sentence or phrase B introduces the person or people involved. Amazing. Of course, you introduce the persons or the people involved in the narrative in paragraph 1 in the introduction. Sentence C. In this paragraph, the writer mentions how she feels now about her experience. That's very good. Paragraph 3. Sentence D mentions for the first time where her experience took place. Marvelous. This is paragraph 2. Sentence E explains what her experience taught her. Nice. In paragraph 3. Now, this is phrase or sentence F. In this paragraph, the writer describes the events leading up to the actual experience. Of course, this is paragraph 1. Finally, we have got sentence G. In this paragraph, the writer mentions the emotions she felt while going through the experience. Very good answer. This is paragraph 2. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, let's go ahead, move to another task in which we are given more details about the components, the elements of a narrative text. Welcome again, dear students. This is your workbook, page 36, which provides us with detailed information about the components, the details of a personal narrative. As you can see, basically we have got 3 main paragraphs. Of course, we have got the title, then we have got the introduction. What should the introduction include? Nice. To set up the scene by introducing the main characters, establishing the setting, and describing the events leading up to the experience that constitutes the highlight of your narrative. The main paragraph or the main part may be 1 paragraph, 2 or 3 paragraphs. In the main part, you have got 4 main points. You describe the events in the order in which they occurred. You highlight a particular point or moment that you consider important. This is what we call the turning point of the narrative. Third, you explain the significance of your experience by comparing it to and or associating it with something else. And finally, you state your impressions and feelings and say how they affected you. In the conclusion, you say how you feel about the experience now, not at that time, but now, how you feel about it. And finally, you state what you have learned from that experience. Thank you very much. Now let's go ahead to deal with a practical model, which we are going to do ourselves. Dear students, at this point, we have reached the stage of planning and doing or writing our narrative ourselves. Now look at the components or the main parts of the plan, which we have to fill up with notes, short sentences. Okay? Now, this is the first box, which is the introduction. We have got to say where, when, and who. And this is my suggested answer. This is, of course, a human experience. It was in Juba, South Sudan, when, sometime in the past, a group of volunteers, some local people, and I. The main part, narrating and discussing the events. The first part is events in order. Try to provide a short summary of the events of your narrative. This is a sample. I watched a video, decided to volunteer, work with others, etc. What was the key moment? When we watched a documentary about problems caused by shortage of clean water in South Sudan and decided to volunteer. The following part is significance of the experience. What is the significance? What is the lesson? This is a suggested answer. We are all citizens of the world and we need to work together to build a better life. This is nice. Now the following part is your feelings and impressions. Yes, at that time, what were your feelings? What were your impressions? Yes, this is a suggested answer. This experience really opened my eyes to the problems that exist in our world. We always have more in common with other people than we realize. Nice, very good. And the final part is the conclusion, reflecting on the impact that the experience had on you. This is a sample suggestion. I'm grateful that I had the chance to step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself as well. That's good work, gentlemen. Please, let's move to our final part, which I'm really looking forward to, which is writing our final narrative. Let's go on. Hello again, dear friends, and welcome to our final part of this lesson, which is our final copy of our personal narrative. Let's read the introduction together first, and please pay attention that I have included most or all the basic elements of the introduction. Let's read. I first heard about Project Water at school. In our geography class, we watched a documentary about the problems caused by shortage of clean water in South Sudan. And I couldn't believe the hardships that people there faced, all because they didn't have enough clean water. It really made an impression on me how much we take things like this for granted here. The documentary mentioned that there was a summer volunteer program, and I immediately knew that this was something I was interested in. I had done charity work before, but this was my first time volunteering in another country. In the end, I spent 3 weeks in Juba in South Sudan. As you can see, gentlemen, I have provided enough background about the story. Now let's move on to read the main body paragraph. I got to see how the charity improves the lives of people in the area, and best of all, I got to be part of making that happen. I worked with other volunteers and local people to dig water wells, and I also took part in community events that showed people how to test water and check whether it is safe. I worked hard, but I also had a great time working side by side with local people and sharing stories of our different cultures. I met so many amazing people. Even though I came from the other side of the world, I felt that I was able to immerse myself in the culture there, come to appreciate the way of life in South Sudan, and make lasting friendships. Now, gentlemen, the remaining part is the conclusion. Please listen carefully and pay attention to the details. My volunteering experience taught me that no matter where we come from or how different our cultures are, we always have more in common with other people than we realize. We are all citizens of the world, and we need to work together to build a better life. I believe now that if we work together, we can solve any problem. When I think back to my time there, that's what I remember. Working in a team of wonderful people to achieve something great. I'm grateful that I had the chance to step out of my comfort zone and challenge myself as well. More than anything, though, this experience really opened my eyes to the problems that exist in our world. This is not a lesson I'm going to forget. I plan on pursuing a career with a charity or humanitarian organization when I finish my studies. Gentlemen, I'm really grateful to your participation and interaction, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me look forward to meeting you and taking part in new lessons with wonderful students like yourselves. Thank you very much and goodbye.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.